Imagine this. You've poured your heart, your soul, and your savings into your dream business. Things are starting to take off when bam, you're hit with a hefty fine. Or worse, your business gets shut down overnight. Why? Because you missed just one simple step, one crucial step, registering your business. But here's the good news. You can avoid that nightmare completely because in this video, I'm going to show you how to register your business in 5 easy steps so that you can protect your dream and actually set yourself up for success. And guess what? It's a lot easier than what you might think. But first, let's define what we're actually referring to when we say registering your business. Now, for a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, this phrase can kind of feel like a black box, right? It's vague, it's intimidating. So let's break this down. Registering your business simply means making it official in the eyes of the law. It's the process of creating a legal foundation that allows your business to operate, to pay taxes, to protect itself. And this starts by choosing your business structure. Now, are you a sole proprietorship? Are you an LLC? Are you a corporation? Right? Each structure comes with its own rules, its own benefits, some like liability protection, tax advantages. But here's the thing. Registering ensures your business is recognized as a legitimate entity. It also involves things like securing your business name. Now, that doesn't mean trademarking it, okay? That's a separate step if you want to protect your brand nationally. But it does mean ensuring that your name is unique and filing it with your local, your state, or local government. Now, from there, you'll likely need an employer identification number. Now, this is also known as your EIN number. Think of this as your business's social security number. This is for things like taxes, opening a bank account, hiring employees, and depending on your industry, you may also need some more specific licenses or some permits to comply with local regulations in the area. So keep that in mind. But at its core, registering your business is about turning your idea into something real, into something tangible. That's not just a dream, but it's fully operational. It's an entity ready to thrive. And it's not as complicated as you might think, but there are 3 common challenges that entrepreneurs seem to frequently stumble into. So I'm going to tell you what those challenges are. I'm also going to tell you how to avoid them. That way you can just easily navigate your way through this process. That said, the number one challenge entrepreneurs face is confusion over the requirements. Now here's the thing. Every state, every county has different rules, right? What paperwork do you need? Where do you need to file it? I know it's a lot to figure out. Now, number 2, this is the fear of doing it wrong, right? You're worried about missing a step, about maybe filling out some forms incorrectly or getting hit with fines down the road. And then the third is going to be overwhelmed. Now, with so many moving parts in a business, right? You got business names, licenses, taxes. It's easy to feel paralyzed and not know where to start. So if that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And the good news is once you break this down into the steps, the process is so much more manageable. That's exactly what we're going to do right now. And hey, if you're new to my channel, I'm Gary Smith. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I'm a business and marketing adjunct professor, and I'm a small business coach who specializes in working with aspiring entrepreneurs and early stage entrepreneurs. That said, here are the 5 steps that you need to know in order to register your business. Now, step 1, this is to choose your business name, right? Your business name is your business identity, right? It needs to be unique, memorable, and reflective of your brand. Now, I did a whole video on this just recently, so I'll go ahead and put a link to that in the description below. I'm not going to go into too much depth here because I did a whole video, but I will give you these 3 tips. Number 1, start with brainstorming names that align with your business value. Next, see if your business name is available, right? So search your state's businesses registry, look for domain names, check it out online. And then third, make sure the name's not trademarked, right? You want to make sure someone else is not already using the name. So avoid those mistakes. Now, step 2, decide on your business structure. Now, one of the most important decisions that you'll ever make when registering your business is choosing the right business structure. Now, this is not just a formality. It determines how your business operates, how you're taxed, and how much personal liability you're exposed to. In fact, the most common structures for small businesses are going to be your sole proprietorships, your LLCs or limited liability corporations, and then your actual corporations. Now, each option has its own pros and its own cons. So you want to choose one that aligns with your business goals, with your risk tolerance, and with your long-term vision, right? So if you're just starting out, you may want something that's straightforward, Maybe a sole proprietorship might be the way to go. It's the simplest, it's the least expensive option, and allows you to kind of operate your business under your own name. Or you can also use a trade name. However, simplicity, that often comes as a trade-off. And with a sole proprietorship, there is no distinction between your personal and your business assets. That means if your business faces legal trouble or financial losses, your personal assets, like your house, your savings, those could all be at risk. That said, I am not a tax accountant, nor am I a business attorney, right? I'm not giving any legal advice in this video. I'm a business professor. I'm a business coach, and I'm a business owner. So I'm coming at you from that perspective, from my own experience and from working with clients with their businesses. However, I do encourage you to do your due diligence. What I have found, however, is that many entrepreneurs, myself included, find that the LLC strikes kind of a perfect balance between the two, right? In terms of personal liability protection, it helps with in terms of your assets, keeps them shielded from many business debts or lawsuits. In fact, the LLC offers some flexibility in how you're taxed, right? It allows you to choose between, being taxed as a sole proprietorship or as a corporation, depending on how you have your structure set up, right? So this LLC structure is really popular for small businesses and startups because it's manageable while still offering some significant legal protection. However, if you're planning to grow quickly, if you're going to be raising capital with investors and things like that, a corporation might be a better choice for you. Corporations, they are in fact a lot more complex to establish and to maintain, but they also offer some distinct advantages. They have the ability to issue stock. You can attract investors. They also provide strong liability protection and continuity. What I mean by that are that these businesses, they continue to exist independent of its founders. However, with that trade-off, there is a lot of increased paperwork. There's a lot of requirements. There can even be double taxation depending on the type of corporation that you've set up within the United States. Now, if you're outside the United States, your country, of course, is going to have different laws than what we do here. And if you're unsure what structure is right for you, I do recommend consulting with a local attorney or a local tax professional. They can really help you kind of weigh those pros and those cons with your specific goals, also with your industry and with your financial situation personally. And keep in mind, the right structure can actually save you from headaches and complications down the road. So invest that time up front, make the effort to help you make that informed decision. Moving on. Step 3. Now, this is where you're going to register with the proper authorities. At this point, you've chosen your business structure, your business name, and it's time to officially go ahead and register it with the state or local authorities. This is a crucial step that provides legitimacy, and it also ensures that you're operating within the law. Now, this process creates kind of a formal record of your business, which is essential for things like maybe opening a bank account, paying taxes, securing licenses and permits. And the first step in registration is typically involves filing your paperwork with your state or your local government. Now, here in the United States, this is usually done through your state's Secretary of State office. Now, you need to provide, of course, details about your business, right? The name, the structure, the purpose. They're going to ask you what your business does. And these forms, they vary by state, right? But they're generally straightforward for the most part. Most states have moved their filing processes online, right? So you can just log on, which makes it faster, makes it more convenient to submit your application, right? Pay the required fee and then track the progress. Now, the cost to register your business, that's going to depend on your state and also your structure. For example, filing an LLC, that might cost anywhere from $50 to $500. While corporations, that could have significantly higher fees. And keep in mind that some states have, they require kind of ongoing fees and reports that you have to do throughout the year. So it's a real good idea to check all these requirements ahead of time. That way you're not hit with any surprises. Now, just to give you an example, I spent most of my life in California outside the military and before we moved out here. And for my businesses there, and they were LLCs, you have to pay $800 a year, and that's whether you make any money or not. Ideally, you're going to be making much more than that, but still, that's something to consider. Now, if you're operating as a sole proprietor and you're using a business name other than your legal name, you'll probably need to register what's called a DBA. It stands for Doing Business As. Now, this is quick, it's inexpensive, it's a process that's usually handled at the county or state level. That said, if you're planning to expand, maybe nationally or internationally, you might consider filing for a federal trademark to protect your brand. And you also want to ensure that no one else can use your business name. Here's the thing. registering your business, it might feel like a formality, but it's actually a foundational step that really sets your business up for success. It not only establishes your credibility, but it establishes with, customers, with partners, with maybe investors, right? So you want to have that good standing from day one, right? So take the time to go through this step. You'll thank yourself later when everything's running smoothly. That brings us to step 4, which is get your EIN number. That stands for Employer Identification Number. This is a crucial step in getting your business right from the start. Think of this as your social security number for your business, right? It's a unique identifier. It's assigned by the IRS and allows your business to operate legally, whether you're hiring employees, whether you're filing taxes, or even opening a bank account, right? Your EIN number is essential, even if you're a solopreneur. Right. So having this number can really streamline your operations, and it creates kind of a layer of protection and professionalism when dealing with clients, with vendors, with financial institutions. The good news is getting your EIN is simple, right? It's a completely free process in the United States, and you can do it right online, right? You apply through the IRS website. Whole process takes about 10 minutes. And you'll need to provide some basic information about your business, right? They want to know your legal structure, the purpose, and some questions like that. And then once you complete the application, your EIN is issued, and you can usually start using it right away. Now, even if you don't plan to hire employees right away, it can still be a good idea to get an EIN number. For example, if you're trying to open up a bank account, they're usually going to ask for an EIN number. And this also means you don't have to use your social security number, right? So you're separating your business from your personal finances, right? So this is real good in terms of protection and also privacy. Right, so it has that kind of that layer of protection there. Also, keep in mind that certain business structures, like your partnerships, if you're doing a partnership, corporations, LLCs with multiple members, these are legally required in some cases to have an EIN number. Now, sole proprietorships with no employees, these aren't usually required to have those, right? But still, something you might want to consider. I would tell you to think of it as kind of that foundational step that really opens up some doors for you. It simplifies the administrative side of running your business, and it can yield some benefits. So don't skip it. Step 5. This is where you're going to obtain any licenses, any permits that you might need, right? This is kind of the final step that you want to go through to make sure that you comply with local, state, and federal regulations, which, depending on your industry, right, can be extensive. And skipping this step might result in things like fines or penalties, could have your business shut down, but we don't want any of that to happen, right? So make sure you get this right from the very beginning. Keep in mind, different industries have different requirements. For example, if you're opening up maybe a restaurant, right, this might need a health permit, food handling certifications, possibly alcohol licenses if you're serving drinks. Now, if you're a contractor, maybe you're an electrician or another type of professional, you might need to have other specialized licenses to work in your specific field. Now, in terms of retail, right, these businesses usually require sales tax permits, might need to have zoning, occupancy permits, things like that. So you want to check these out always and find out what's required in your area. Some places, they don't require very much at all. Other cities, other counties require a whole lot. So I recommend checking with your local government or a small business office. In fact, a lot of cities, they've got it right online. I would say 90%, unless you're out in some rural county, it's going to have all that information online for you. And if your business operates across state lines, like many businesses do, you want to make sure that you're complying with federal regulations as well. In that case, you probably do have to set up to have an employer tax ID number, and there's going to be other certifications. So you've got to do your homework, right? This is something you've got to kind of dig into, find out what's going to be required. And it might sound daunting at first. It really isn't, right? This is just a step, part of being a business owner. It establishes your credibility with customers, with partners, with investors. And they want to see that you're operating your business above board, right? It's a clear signal of your professionalism. The key to making this process manageable is to just take it one step at a time, right? You don't have to do everything in the first day, right? You don't have to tackle it all at once. So that's a surefire way to get discouraged and stressed out, right? So break the process down, right? Start with your business name, brainstorm ideas, right? Check availability and lock that in. Once that's done, then go ahead and move on to deciding what your business structure is going to be, and so on, right? You see the process. Focus on one step at a time, make that steady progress, and resist the urge to try to tackle everything at once. Now, here's a bonus tip for you. It'll make your journey even easier. create a checklist, right? Write down each step in the registration process, right? Choosing your name, right? Selecting your structure, filing with the authorities, obtaining your EIN, and then securing any necessary permits or licenses. That's really all you need to do. So this gives you kind of a clear roadmap, makes the process feel much more achievable. And here's the thing, if you're like me, each time you check off a task off your list, right, it feels like you're moving forward, but at the same time, you're also building that momentum, right? So that's incredibly motivating to do that. It helps you stay on track, at least it does for me. And also pace yourself, right? Celebrate those small wins along the way. You'll make this process not only more manageable, but also more enjoyable and more rewarding. Before you know it, you're going to have your business officially registered. You'll have it all done. You'll say, I'm glad I did that. I don't have to worry about these things anymore. And then you can focus on the exciting part, which is building your dream business, right? So take some action today, right? Don't put it off till later. Start now. Take the action, right? And put your list together and then make that forward progress toward getting this done. And if you want to know more about how to launch a startup or grow your business, just click or swipe the screen to watch this next video.